All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We've got a massive tactical mismatch on our hands today. Real Madrid taking on Real Oviedo. I'm Analyst A, your resident data quant, and sitting right across from me is our tactical mastermind, Analyst B.
Hey, always great to be here. And wow, what a dynamic we've got today. Madrid is out for blood, hunting for a ruthless post-Clasico bounce back at the Bernabéu. Meanwhile, you've got bottom table Oviedo stepping into the lion's den, basically fighting purely for pride at this point.
Let's tackle the biggest variable first. Right, the question literally everyone is asking. How does Kylian Mbappé being out completely rewrite Madrid's tactical map? Because with him listed as doubtful or just totally out, Madrid loses that terrifying pure transition speed. Manager Carlo Ancelotti has to seriously shift gears here. They can't just absorb pressure and rely on lightning fast counterattacks to punish high lines anymore. No, this absence forces them into a much heavier reliance on patient, sustained combination play. We're talking systematic breakdowns, half-space overloads, and a lot of intricate passing triangles.
Exactly. And when you run the raw numbers on that, man, it is glaring. For the market watchers tuning in, our Poisson-style goal model is screaming mismatch. When you bake in table position, goal production, form, those squad absences, and obviously the home advantage, the output is crazy. We're projecting a massive 74.5% win probability for Real Madrid. A draw sits at 17.3%, and an Oviedo upset, just 8.2%. Now, some of the more conservative external market models have Madrid closer to 64%, but honestly, given the Bernabéu factor and Oviedo already facing confirmed relegation status, the underlying data aggressively backs overwhelming home dominance.
Well, sure, but games aren't played on spreadsheets, my friend. Let's talk about the spatial clash on the actual grass. We're looking at Ancelotti's 4-2-3-1 possession structure slamming headfirst into Xavi Kalia's 4-4-2 compact low block. Oviedo's entire defensive manifesto today is going to be stifling Madrid's wide acceleration. They desperately want to shut down the flanks, completely deny any late box entries from guys like Jude Bellingham or Brahim Diaz, and just frustrate Madrid into playing sterile sideways passes all night.
So, for anyone brushing up on their tactical jargon, let's quickly define what Oviedo is actually trying to pull off here. Yeah, so a compact mid-to-low block is basically a defensive shell. The entire focus is limiting the physical space between your midfield and your defensive lines. You want to force the attacking team out wide and just choke the life out of any central combination play. So, if Madrid looks kind of sluggish or frustrated in the first 20 minutes, this highly dangerous game of territorial chicken is exactly why. But it's risky, because if Oviedo defends too deep, they just invite Madrid's fullbacks, guys like Trent Alexander-Arnold and Fran Garcia, to step way up, invert, and completely pin Oviedo inside their own penalty box.
And it's absolutely crucial to remember that Madrid's structure is nowhere near 100% capacity either. We already talked about Mbappé, but Fede Valverde is also sidelined with a head injury. That's a massive blow. It significantly drops their midfield engine capacity and their ability to sustain a high press. Oh, for sure. Plus, you throw in the missing defensive and wide rotation pieces. Carvajal, Mendy, Militao, and Rodrigo are all out. So why does this matter structurally? Without that relentless engine and their natural width, Madrid loses their standard reliable withholding outlets. They're going to have to rely so heavily on progressive carries from deep and just sustained, suffocating box pressure to force errors, rather than leaning on those rapid transitions we're used to seeing.
Which perfectly tees up the vertical battle for this matchup. Spot on. Look, with Mbappé out of the picture, Vinicius Jr. becomes the undisputed, terrifying wide threat. The guy has to shoulder a massive amount of final third responsibility tonight. He'll be the one dragging defenders kicking and screaming into the half spaces and sparking those dangerous progressive carries. And on the flip side, Oviedo's counter strength is, well, pure desperation. It pretty much entirely relies on their main striker, Federico Viñas. If Oviedo somehow manages to bypass Madrid's heavy counterpress, their primary escape route is just launching a long, hopeful, direct ball up to Viñas. He's got to hold up play, draw a foul, and just try to relieve some of that relentless pressure. And the underlying data paints a pretty clinical picture of that uphill battle. We are projecting 2.15 expected goals for Real Madrid compared to a tiny 0.55 for Oviedo. The math heavily points to a 2-0 or 3-0 Madrid win as the most probable outcome. To put that into perspective, the first time these two met this season, Madrid won 3-0 and posted a very similar 2.38 xG. The numbers are strongly suggesting we'll see a near identical dominance pattern tonight. But hey, expected goals are just theories until someone actually blasts the ball into the back of the net. How is that 2.15 xG actually getting distributed? Well, for the fantasy managers out there building your lineups, Vinicius is holding a 39% estimated scoring probability. He is absolutely the statistical focal point here, and we expect massive shot volume from him today. Then you've got Gonzalo Garcia, who's expected to step into that central striker role, sitting at 34%, definitely benefiting from Madrid's territorial dominance. And Jude Bellingham holds a solid 27% probability. You've got to keep a really close eye on Bellingham's pressing triggers too. He's going to be hunting second balls like crazy and making those devastating late box runs from the attacking midfield. Madrid's goals aren't just going to come from one guy. It's this distributed, multi-angled attack completely designed to overwhelm that low block.
Okay, so what about Oviedo's side of the equation? Let's talk about the number 9. Right, 9. That is Federico Viña's total goal tally for the season in La Liga. If you're desperate for a statistical focal point for the away side, he is literally your ultimate fantasy anchor. Let's be real. If Oviedo somehow pulls off a miracle tonight and actually gets on the score sheet, Viñas is the guy making it happen. He'll be the sole threat for second balls, basically just praying to capitalize on some rare defensive miscommunication from Madrid's reshuffled backline.
Before we wrap up, we absolutely have to touch on the discipline market, because this match has all the ingredients of a high foul environment. It's a total powder keg. Aurelien Tchouaméni and Vinicius Jr. both sit on 8 yellow cards for the season. Tchouaméni is a huge risk for tactical fouls, just to blow up counterattacks, while Vinny is constantly getting into these emotional, high-contact duels.
Oh yeah, and add the referee to the mix, Ricardo de Burgos Bencaduecha, who averages around 4.3 cards a match. Plus, Oviedo is already missing Javi Lopez and Cibo to suspensions, which just murders their depth. Their center backs, Eric Bailly and Dani Calvo, are going to be under relentless, suffocating box pressure from Madrid's dribblers. Honestly, expect the cards to fly when that Oviedo low block starts getting tired and desperate late in the second half.
Which brings us to the ultimate question for tonight's tactical clash. Exactly. The tactical maps are drawn, the data is heavily skewed, but who actually cracks first? Does Real Madrid stumble under this immense post-Clasico pressure to perform, especially with a heavily depleted squad? Or does Oviedo's relegated pride simply shatter under the relentless, distributed attacking volume of a full Bernabéu siege? That is the match context we're watching unfold tonight. Huge thanks for joining us on this explainer. Keep your eyes on those half spaces, and we will catch you next time.